All right, you sick fucks. Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be wading into the blood-soaked world of assassins with The Day of the Jackal. This TV show is a goddamn masterpiece. It's raked in critical acclaim, snagged 2 Golden Globe nominations. Basically a modern twist on Frederick Forsyth's classic novel, with a healthy dose of holy shit moments that'll keep you glued to the screen.
Yeah, it's definitely a wild ride, no doubt about that.
We've got Eddie Redmayne playing this stone-cold British assassin, known only as the Jackal. This guy's a fucking disappears after every hit, leaves no trace behind. He's got the whole arsenal of disguises, aliases, you name it. This dude makes Jason Bourne look like an amateur.
You know what's fascinating to me is how the show really dives into his methods. It's not just about brute force. It's about meticulous planning, manipulation, understanding the psychology of his targets.
Right. And don't even get me started on his signature weapon, a collapsible sniper rifle custom-made by some shady Irish gunsmith. This thing's like a transformer packing serious heat and disappearing in a flash. Talk about a head popper.
Yeah, it really is a testament to the show's attention to detail. They don't just gloss over the technical aspects of it. They delve into the mechanics, the craftsmanship, the sheer lethality of these weapons.
So who's got this target painted on their back? None other than Ully Dag Charles, a tech billionaire with a god complex. This guy's about to launch some world-changing software called River, which is basically a digital nuke aimed at exposing all the dirty secrets of the elite. Think Panama Papers on steroids.
It's interesting how the show sets up this conflict. Between transparency and power, you've got this idealistic tech guru who wants to shine a light on the darkness, and then you've got this shadowy network of power brokers who will stop at nothing to protect their secrets.
And standing between them is our boy the Jackal. This gig doesn't come cheap, though. He's demanding a cool $100 million to silence this truth-spilling asshole, and he's got just 1 month to do it. Talk about a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, that ticking clock really adds to the suspense. You're constantly wondering, will he pull it off? Will he get the money? Will he escape the inevitable fallout?
But hot on his trail is Lashana Lynch, playing Bianca Pullman, an MI6 agent who's basically a human bloodhound with a license to kill. This woman is relentless. She's a fucking bulldog chewing on this case and refusing to let go.
Yeah, but Bianca is more than just a badass agent. The show delves into her personal struggles, her demons, the emotional toll that this pursuit takes on her. It adds a layer of complexity to her character, making her more than just a foil to the Jackal.
Right. It's like she's staring into the abyss, and the abyss is staring back, changing her in ways she can't control. And here's where The Day of the Jackal really fucks with your mind. The show throws curveballs like a goddamn pitching machine. The Jackal's wife, Naria, starts suspecting something's off about her hubby's little business trips. Bianca's dealing with leaks and backstabbing assholes within MI6. And to top it off, the Jackal's past comes back to haunt him, linked to some shady shit in Afghanistan.
Yeah, but the show doesn't just throw in twists for shock value. These twists are like cracks in a facade, revealing the characters' vulnerabilities, their hidden motivations.
Right. And just when you think you've got it figured out, another assassin jumps into the mix.
Yeah.
Aiming for the same goddamn target. It's like a fucked up game of musical chairs with bullets flying everywhere.
It creates this sense of chaos, of unpredictability, which really mirrors the real world of espionage. You never know who to trust, who's playing who, what the ultimate goal really is.
So did our boy the Jackal manage to pull off the hit with all this shitstorm brewing around him?
He did. He iced the target like a pro, but not without some serious consequences. He gets shot up pretty bad and ends up on the run, leaving a trail of bodies in his wake. It's like watching a wounded animal lashing out in desperation.
Talk about going out with a bang.
Yeah.
But the show doesn't end there, does it?
No, it leaves you hanging on a cliffhanger. The Jackal's out for blood, gunning for the bastards who set him up, while also trying to find his wife and kid, who are now in danger because of his little side hustle. It's a twisted mess of revenge, loyalty, and the consequences of his actions.
Damn talk about a fucked up family reunion. So we've got this stone-cold killer, a relentless agent, and a tech billionaire about to spill the beans on the world's elite. What's the bigger picture here? What makes this show more than just another action flick?
It's the moral ambiguity, man. The show doesn't give you easy answers. It throws you into this morally gray world where everyone's got blood on their hands.
You telling me? Like, is the Jackal really a villain? He's a killer, sure. But he's also a skilled professional trapped in a deadly game. Maybe even taking out some truly evil motherfuckers along the way.
Right. And then you've got Bianca. Is she a hero for chasing this guy, or is she crossing lines, becoming a monster herself in the pursuit of justice? It's a question that lingers even after the show ends. Does upholding the law justify breaking it?
Deep shit, man. So if the Jackal managed to kill this Charles dude and shut down River, Did he actually do the world a favor? I mean, think about it. All those dirty secrets of the powerful staying buried.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Did he become an unwitting protector of a corrupt system? Or did he just delay the inevitable explosion, making things worse in the long run? The show leaves you pondering that.
Mind-blowing. Dude, this is why I love The Day of the Jackal. It's not just about the action and the body count. It's about making you think, making you question your own damn morals.
Exactly. And it does it with style. The casting, the cinematography, the music, it all comes together to create this immersive experience, pulling you into this world of shadows and secrets.
Speaking of casting, Eddie Redmayne as the Jackal. Fucking brilliant. This guy's got this quiet intensity, this unsettling calmness that makes you believe he could actually pull off this shit.
It's like he's got this inner darkness simmering beneath the surface, ready to erupt. You can see the toll that taking lives has taken on him, the nightmares, the guilt, the constant fear. He's a ghost haunting himself.
Damn, that's deep. But let's be real. The man's got skills. I mean, that collapsible sniper rifle, pure badassery.
It's like something out of a Bond movie. The way it's designed, the way he assembles and disassembles it with such precision. It's a testament to the Jackal's meticulous nature, his dedication to his craft.
He's not just a trigger-happy psycho. He's a goddamn artist to death. And let's not forget Lashana Lynch as Bianca Pullman. She's a force of nature, bringing this raw energy and vulnerability to the role.
Yeah, she's not your typical action hero, all swagger and one-liners. Bianca's got baggage. She's dealing with the fallout of her daughter being kidnapped, her marriage falling apart, and the constant pressure of her job.
She's a woman on the edge, fueled by a thirst for justice, but also teetering on the brink of becoming the very thing she's hunting. It's a performance that stays with you, man.
Absolutely. And the show doesn't shy away from showing the consequences of her choices. Remember that interrogation scene with Larry, her informant's husband?
Oh, fuck yeah. That was intense. She went full-on Dirty Harry on that dude, crossing lines to get the information she needed.
It raises uncomfortable questions about the methods we use to combat evil. When does the pursuit of justice turn into vengeance?
Heavy stuff, man. This show really makes you think about the compromises people make in these high-stakes games. But it's not just about the leads, you know. The supporting characters are more than just cardboard cutouts.
Exactly. They add depth and complexity to the world. Take Xena Janson, the liaison between the Jackal and his mysterious employer. She's caught in the middle, trying to manage this unpredictable assassin, while also dealing with her own fears and ambitions.
She's like a high-wire act trying to balance loyalty with self-preservation, knowing that one wrong step could send her plummeting.
And what about Charles Dance as Timothy Winthrop, the Jackal's shaky employer?
He's the puppet master, the embodiment of corrupt power, pulling strings from behind the scenes. He's got his own agenda, his own secrets, and he's willing to sacrifice anyone to protect them.
He's a chilling reminder that the real monsters often wear suits and ties. But then you have Nuria, the Jackal's wife. She's the heart of the show, the one person who sees the man beneath the mask, the glimmer of humanity in this dark world. Her journey of discovery as she slowly uncovers the truth about her husband is heartbreaking. She's caught between love and disillusionment, forced to confront the reality of who she's married to.
And Ursula Corbero's performance is phenomenal. You can feel her pain, her confusion, her desperate hope that maybe there's still good in this man she loves.
And the supporting cast within MI6 is equally strong. You've got Damien, the ambitious up-and-comer, Vincent, the cautious veteran, Isabel Kirby caught in a web of deceit, and Osita Hauker, Bianca's other boss, who suspects she's gone rogue.
The show doesn't treat them as just background noise. Each one gets their moment to shine, showing the different faces of the intelligence world. The loyalties, the betrayals, the compromises.
They're like pieces on a chessboard, each with their own moves, their own motivations, and their own vulnerabilities.
So let's talk about the Jackal's past. We get these glimpses into his backstory, these flashbacks to Afghanistan that hint at some seriously fucked up shit. What's the deal with that?
Those flashbacks are crucial, man. They show you how this seemingly emotionless killing machine was forged. His real name's Alexander Duggan, a top-tier sniper in the British Army. He was involved in all sorts of black ops, taking out targets with surgical precision.
But something went wrong, right? Some shit that changed him forever.
The wedding party massacre, a complete clusterfuck where innocent people were slaughtered, and Duggan realized he was a pawn in a dirty game, played by powerful bastards who didn't give a damn about collateral damage.
Holy shit. Talk about a soul-crushing experience.
And his decision to kill his own squad, fake his own death, and disappear. It's a desperate act of a man trying to escape the guilt and the nightmares, but it also marks the birth of the Jackal, the ghost who operates outside the law, seeking his own twisted form of justice.
So he's not just a cold-blooded killer. He's a broken man, haunted by the things he's done. It adds a whole other layer to his character. Makes you wonder if he's trying to redeem himself in some fucked up way.
It's like he's trying to atone for his past sins by taking out other sinners, playing judge, jury, and executioner. But it raises the question, can you really outrun your demons? Or do they just follow you into the shadows?
Damn, this show really gets under your skin, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're left wrestling with all these questions about morality, justice, and the consequences of violence long after you finish watching.
Exactly. And that's what makes The Day of the Jackal such a brilliant piece of storytelling. It's not just entertainment. It's a challenge, a mirror reflecting the darkness and complexity of the world we live in.
And let's not forget the locations, man. The show takes you on a whirlwind tour of Europe. From the gritty streets of London to the sun-drenched coasts of Spain, each place adding to the atmosphere of the tension.
It's like each location is a character itself, reflecting the mood, the danger, the secrets hidden beneath the surface.
Right, like London, all gray skies and shadows. It's the perfect setting for the cat-and-mouse game between Bianca and the Jackal. And then you've got Spain, all sunny beaches and luxurious villas, which creates this stark contrast to the darkness that's consuming the Jackal's world.
It's a visual reminder that appearances can be deceiving, that even in paradise shadows lurk.
So we've talked about the characters, the plot, the themes, the locations. But let's get down to brass tacks. What are the key takeaways here? What does The Day of the Jackal teach us about this fucked up world we live in?
First and foremost, the show throws a big fat spotlight on how power corrupts. It doesn't matter if you're a politician, a billionaire, or a spy agency. Power has a way of twisting people, making them do things they never thought possible.
Yeah, it's like that saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And this show throws that right in your face.
Second, violence always leaves a scar. It doesn't matter who you are, what your reasons are, pulling that trigger, ending a life. It fucks you up, man. You see it in the Jackal, in Bianca, in everyone caught in this web of death.
It's like a poison spreading through their lives, infecting everything they touch.
Through the line between good and evil, it's blurry as hell. Bianca's trying to uphold the law, but she's breaking the rules, torturing the suspects, operating in a morally gray zone. The Jackal's a killer, but he might be taking out some truly evil bastards, preventing even worse shit from happening.
It's enough to make your head spin trying to figure out who's right, who's wrong, and who's just plain fucked up.
And lastly, you can't outrun your past. It's like a shadow following you, shaping your decisions, haunting your dreams. The Jackal thought he could escape his sins by disappearing, becoming someone new. But the past always has a way of catching up.
Deep shit, man. This show isn't just entertainment. It's a fucking wake-up call, forcing you to look at the world and yourself in a new light.
It's a reminder that we all have choices to make, lines we're willing to cross, and consequences we have to face.
So for all you sick fucks out there who haven't seen The Day of the Jackal, what the hell are you waiting for? This show is a must-watch, a wild ride that will fuck with your mind and leave you wanting more.
It's a show that asks difficult questions, challenges your assumptions, and stays with you long after the credits roll. If you're looking for a show that's both entertaining and thought-provoking, The Day of the Jackal delivers in spades.
Now let's take a closer look at some of the criticisms this show's gotten. Some people think it's too violent, too graphic, and that it glorifies killing.
Yeah, I get that. The violence is definitely intense, unflinching. But it's not gratuitous. It's not there for cheap thrills.
Right. It serves a purpose. Showing the brutal reality of the Jackal's world, the consequences of his actions, the toll it takes on everyone involved.
It's like a punch to the gut, forcing you to confront the ugliness of violence, its impact on the human psyche.
Some folks also have a problem with how MI6 is portrayed, saying it makes them look incompetent and corrupt.
Let's cut the crap. Intelligence agencies are not all sunshine and rainbows. They operate in the shadows, making tough calls, sometimes crossing lines to achieve their objectives.
It's a dirty business, and the show doesn't shy away from that.
Right. It shows the internal power struggles, the betrayals, the ethical compromises. It's a glimpse into a world where the ends sometimes justify the means.
It's not about demonizing MI6. It's about showing the reality of their world, the pressures they face, the choices they make.
And let's be real, the show also presents some badass MI6 agents, like Bianca Pullman, who are dedicated to their jobs, risking their lives to protect their country.
She's proof that even in a world of shadows, there are individuals who strive to do the right thing, even if it means getting their hands dirty.
But let's face it, the show's complexity is also what draws people to it.
Right. This isn't some dumbed-down action flick. It's a story that demands your attention, makes you think, and leaves you with more questions than answers.
The tangled web of characters, the shifting allegiances, the moral ambiguity, it's all part of what makes The Day of the Jackal so damn gripping.
And let's not forget the cultural impact. This show has reignited the whole spy thriller genre, inspiring a new wave of stories that explore the dark underbelly of espionage in a post-9/11 world.
It sparked conversations about government overreach, the ethics of assassination, the role of technology in surveillance, and the very nature of truth in a world where information is weaponized.
So let's dive a little deeper into what makes the Day of the Jackal so unique. What sets it apart from the countless other shows out there?
First off, the Jackal himself. He's not your stereotypical villain. He's a complex, multi-layered character, a ghost haunted by his past, seeking redemption in the most fucked up way possible.
He's a study in contrasts, a ruthless killer capable of cold-blooded efficiency, yet tormented by guilt and a yearning for connection.
And the fact that the show delves into his backstory, revealing his transformation from soldier to assassin, adds another layer to his character.
It humanizes him, making his actions all the more tragic and disturbing.
Then you've got the strong female characters. Bianca Pullman is no damsel in distress. She's a force to be reckoned with, brilliant, tough, and driven by a relentless pursuit of justice, even if it means blurring the lines.
She's a woman operating in a man's world, constantly having to prove herself, dealing with betrayal and sexism within her own agency. But she never backs down, never compromises her integrity.
And Naria, the Jackal's wife, she's not just a plot device. She's the moral compass of the show, representing the innocent caught in the crossfire, the ones who suffer the consequences of the Jackal's actions.
Her journey from blissful ignorance to devastating awareness is what really hits you in the gut.
The show doesn't shy away from the emotional toll of this world, the collateral damage, the broken lives left in the wake of these high-stakes games.
And let's not forget the show's unflinching portrayal of the espionage world. It's not all gadgets and glamorous locales.
This show strips away the romanticized facade, showing the grit, the moral compromises, the psychological warfare, the constant pressure cooker of operating in the shadows.
It's a world where trust is a luxury, betrayal is a given, and the lines between right and wrong are constantly being redrawn.
And the show's creators have done a masterful job of weaving all these elements together, creating this tapestry of suspense, intrigue, and moral ambiguity that keeps you hooked from beginning to end.
The pacing is perfect, the dialogue is sharp, and the performances are top-notch.
It's a show that demands your attention, challenges your perceptions, and stays with you long after you've finished watching.
So what are some of the big questions that the Day of the Jackal throws at you?
Well, for starters, can violence ever truly be justified? The Jackal believes he's taking out bad guys, but at what cost? And who gets to decide who deserves to die?
It's a slippery slope, man. Once you start playing God, where do you draw the line?
Then there's the question of freedom. Bianca's willing to sacrifice everything, her marriage, her family, her sanity, to bring the Jackal down. But is it worth it? What price are we willing to pay for justice, for security?
And what about the Jackal's freedom? He's constantly on the run, living in the shadows, unable to trust anyone. Is that any kind of life?
The show makes you confront the different faces of freedom, the choices we make, and the sacrifices we endure in its pursuit.
Another biggie is accountability. Who's really pulling the strings in this world? Is it governments, corporations, shadowy organizations? And how do we hold them responsible for the shit they do?
The show exposes the rot at the heart of power, the corruption that thrives in the dark corners. And it challenges us to find ways to expose it, to hold those responsible accountable for their actions.
It's a call to action, man. It's saying, don't just sit there and take it. Question everything, demand answers.
And then there's the question of whether we can ever truly escape our past. The Jackal tries to reinvent himself, but his sins keep coming back to haunt him.
It's a reminder that our choices have consequences, and that those consequences can follow us for a lifetime.
But it also suggests that redemption is possible, even for those who have done terrible things.
So how can viewers connect with the Day of the Jackal on a personal level?
Well, ask yourself, what would you do in the Jackal's shoes? Would you be able to pull the trigger knowing the consequences? Would you be willing to cross the line for what you believe in?
Would you be able to live with the blood on your hands?
And what about Bianca's choices? Would you sacrifice your personal life, your morals, for the sake of justice?
These are tough questions, man. Questions that make you confront your own values, your own limits.
And think about the themes of the show. How does power play out in your own life? Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted? Have you ever struggled to forgive yourself for past mistakes?
These are universal themes, man. Themes that resonate with everyone.
The Day of the Jackal just brings them to life in a raw, visceral way.
Now let's talk about how the show's been interpreted by critics and viewers alike.
Some see it as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power, and the seductive nature of violence.
They see the jackal as a symbol of our own capacity for darkness, a reminder that the line between good and evil is thinner than we like to think.
Others see it as a commentary on the complexities of morality in a world where black and white answers are hard to come by.
It's a world where heroes have flaws, villains have motivations, and everyone's operating in a gray zone where the ends sometimes justify the means.
And some see it as a celebration of human resilience, the ability to overcome trauma, to find hope even in the darkest of circumstances.
It's a reminder that even when everything seems lost, there's always a chance for redemption, for forgiveness, for a new beginning.
The Day of the Jackal doesn't shy away from exploring these different perspectives, leaving it up to the viewer to decide what resonates with them.
So how does the Day of the Jackal stack up against other shows in its genre? What are the comparisons people are making?
Critics have compared it to classic spy thrillers like The Bourne Identity and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, praising its intricate plotting, its complex characters, and its realistic portrayal of the espionage world.
But it also has elements of psychological thrillers, like The Silence of the Lambs and Seven, exploring the dark corners of the human psyche, the motivations behind violence, and the lasting scars it leaves.
And there's a touch of political drama in there, too, reminiscent of shows like House of Cards and The West Wing, with its focus on power struggles, corruption, and the manipulation of information.
The Day of the Jackal takes the best elements of these different genres and blends them together into something truly unique.
It's a show that's both familiar and fresh, entertaining and thought-provoking.
So why should you watch The Day of the Jackal?
Well, if you're looking for a show that's going to challenge your perceptions, keep you guessing, and leave you with more questions than answers, this is it.
If you're a fan of spy thrillers, psychological dramas, or political intrigue, you're going to love this show.
It's got something for everyone. Action, suspense, drama, and a healthy dose of moral ambiguity.
But this show isn't just about passive viewing. It's about engaging with the ideas, the characters, the world it presents.
So how can viewers take this experience beyond the screen?
First off, talk about it. Discuss the episodes with friends, family, whoever's willing to listen.
Share your thoughts, your theories, your frustrations. Debate the characters' choices, the moral dilemmas, the implications for the real world.
Dive deeper into the world of the show. Read online reviews, articles, interviews with the creators. Get different perspectives, explore fan theories, and see how other people have interpreted the story.
Join online communities dedicated to the show. Connect with other fans. Share your thoughts. And debate the finer points of the plot and characters.
And if you're feeling creative, express your own interpretations.
Through fan fiction, artwork, music, whatever floats your boat.
The Day of the Jackal is more than just a show. It's a springboard for conversation, reflection, and artistic expression.
Now, here are a few things to keep in mind while watching The Day of the Jackal.
First off, this show is not for the easily offended.
It's graphic, it's violent, it deals with some heavy themes. If you're squeamish about blood and guts, or uncomfortable with morally ambiguous situations, this might not be the show for you.
Second, pay attention. This isn't the show you can just have on in the background while you're scrolling through your phone.
The plot is intricate. The characters are complex. And there are a lot of subtle details and foreshadowing that you might miss if you're not fully engaged.
This is a show that rewards close viewing, trust me.
And lastly, remember that this is fiction.
It's a story inspired by real-world events. But it's not a documentary.
So enjoy the ride, but don't take it as gospel.
Now, what are some things to look out for while watching The Day of the Jackal?
First off, the symbolism. The show is full of it.
Like the jackal's name itself, it's a symbol of his predatory nature, his ability to blend in and strike with deadly precision.
And pay attention to the recurring motifs, like shadows and reflections. They often represent the duality of the characters, the hidden truths, the blurred lines between good and evil.
The show's creators are masters of visual storytelling, using these elements to add layers of meaning and depth to the narrative.
Second, the details. The show's creators have gone to great lengths to create a realistic and believable world. From the costumes and sets, to the weapons and technology.
Pay attention to the little things, the subtle cues, the way characters interact with their environment.
It's all part of creating a world that feels lived in, authentic.
Third, the foreshadowing. The writers are clever. They plant clues, drop hints, and set up future events in subtle ways.
Pay attention to the dialogue, the imagery, the recurring themes, and you'll start to pick up on these breadcrumbs that lead to some of the show's biggest twists and reveals.
And speaking of twists, be prepared for a wild ride.
This show is full of surprises, double crosses, and unexpected turns. Just when you think you've got it figured out, the rug gets pulled out from under you.
So buckle up and enjoy the ride.
Now let's talk about the show's legacy.
The Day of the Jackal has left its mark on popular culture, no doubt about it.
It's revived interest in the spy thriller genre, inspiring a whole new wave of shows and movies that explore the complexities of espionage in a post-9/11 world.
And it's led to a resurgence in the popularity of Frederick Forsyth's novel, the source material for the show.
The show's iconic characters like the Jackal and Bianca Pullman have become part of the pop culture lexicon, inspiring fan art, memes, and even Halloween costumes.
The show's themes and ideas continue to be discussed and debated, sparking conversations about the nature of power, the ethics of violence, and the challenges of navigating a world where truth is often elusive.
So what were the creators' intentions in making this show? What message were they trying to convey?
Well, in interviews, they've said that they wanted to create a show that was both entertaining and thought-provoking, a show that would explore the complexities of espionage and the moral dilemmas that come with it.
They wanted to create a world that felt real grounded and dangerous. Expert speaker. They wanted to create a world that felt real grounded and dangerous. A world where the stakes were high and the consequences were real.
And they wanted to challenge viewers' perceptions to force them to confront uncomfortable truths about the nature of power, violence, and morality.
And they've succeeded on all counts. The Day of the Jackal is a show that stays with you long after the credits roll, prompting you to question your own beliefs and values.
Now let's address some of the common criticisms of the show.
As we mentioned earlier, some viewers have taken issue with the show's graphic violence, its negative portrayal of MI6, and its complex plot, which some found confusing.
While these criticisms are valid, it's important to remember that this is a work of fiction.
It's not a documentary, it's not a history lesson, it's a story designed to entertain, to thrill, and to provoke thought.
And if you're looking for a show that's going to spoon-feed you answers and wrap everything up in a neat little bow, this ain't it.
The Day of the Jackal is a show that embraces ambiguity, that forces you to confront the gray areas of morality, and that leaves you with more questions than answers.
And that's what makes it so damn compelling.
So what should viewers be thinking about after watching The Day of the Jackal?
Well, first and foremost, the nature of power. How does it corrupt? How do we hold those in power accountable?
The show exposes the dark underbelly of power, the ways in which it can be abused, and the challenges of fighting against it.
Second, the nature of violence. What are the consequences? What are the psychological effects?
The show doesn't shy away from the brutality of violence, but it also explores its emotional toll, the ripple effects that extend far beyond the immediate act.
Third, the importance of critical thinking. Don't just accept what you're told.
Question everything, challenge authority, and form your own opinions based on the evidence.
The show encourages viewers to be active participants in the narrative, to analyze the information presented, and to draw their own conclusions.
And lastly, the show reminds us that even in the darkest of times, hope exists.
Characters like Nuria demonstrate the resilience of the human spirit, the ability to find love and forgiveness, even in the face of unimaginable challenges.
So to wrap this up, how can we connect this back to you, the listener?
We've dissected the plot, analyzed the characters, explored the themes, and even delved into the show's cultural impact and critical reception.
But what does it all mean for you sitting there listening to this deep dive?
We want you to walk away from this, not just with a bunch of facts about the Day of the Jackal, but with something more, something that resonates on a personal level.
Think about the questions we've raised. Think about the choices the characters make.
Think about the themes of power, violence, morality, and redemption, and how they relate to your own life, your own experiences.
The Day of the Jackal is more than just a TV show. It's a mirror reflecting the complexities of the human condition.
And by engaging with it, by thinking critically about its message, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
So go forth, watch the show, and let the deep dive begin.
Now let's answer some common questions about the Day of the Jackal. Is this shit based on a true story?
Well, sort of. The show is based on Frederick Forsyth's novel, which was inspired by real-world events, particularly the attempted assassination of French President Charles de Gaulle in the 1960s. But the show takes liberties with the story, updates it to the modern day, and adds its own twists and turns.
So it's a blend of fact and fiction designed to create a compelling narrative while also exploring some of the real-world issues surrounding espionage, terrorism, and political intrigue.
Exactly. It's important to remember that this is a work of entertainment, not a historical documentary.
All right, next question. Will there be a second season? Everyone's dying to know if the Jackal will be back for more mayhem.
The creators have hinted at the possibility of a second season, and the show's ending definitely leaves room for more story. But as of right now, nothing's been officially confirmed.
So keep those fingers crossed, folks. The Jackal might just rise from the ashes for another round.
Now, for those who've already binged The Day of the Jackal and are craving more shows that delve into this world of espionage, what are some recommendations?
Well, if you're digging the morally gray world of The Day of the Jackal, then you got to check out The Night Manager. It's got that same blend of high-stakes espionage, complex characters, and exotic locations. Plus, Tom Hiddleston is fucking fantastic in it.
The Night Manager is a great recommendation. And for those who can't get enough of those intense personal stakes, Bodyguard is another one that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It dives into the world of close protection officers and the psychological toll it takes on them.
Bodyguard is intense as fuck, man. And if you're into those morally ambiguous female leads like Bianca, you gotta check out Killing Eve. It's a twisted cat-and-mouse game between an assassin and an intelligence agent, with both of them constantly blurring the lines between obsession and desire.
Killing Eve is a wild ride, and if you want a show that dives deep into the world of counterterrorism and the moral compromises that come with it, Homeland is a classic. It's got all the twists and turns you could ask for, plus some truly memorable performances.
All right, so we've given you a shitload of recommendations. Now let's wrap up this deep dive into The Day of the Jackal with some final thoughts.
This show is a goddamn masterpiece. It's a gritty, realistic, and unflinching look at the world of espionage, the complexities of human nature, and the moral dilemmas we all face.
It's a show that stays with you long after the credits roll, prompting you to question your own beliefs, your own limits, and the choices you would make in these extreme situations.
It's a reminder that the world is a fucked up place, full of shadows and secrets, but that even in the darkness, there's always the potential for hope, for redemption, for the human spirit to endure.
So we've reached the end of our deep dive. What's the one burning question we want to leave our listeners with?
Simple. If you could sit down with the Jackal face to face, what would you ask him?
Would you try to understand his motivations, his choices? Would you condemn him for his actions? Would you try to offer him some kind of redemption?
It's a question that goes beyond the show itself, forcing you to confront your own beliefs about justice, forgiveness, and the complexities of the human soul.
And that, my friends, is the power of great storytelling.
So keep those brains buzzing, those questions flowing, and always be ready to take the deep dive.
That's it for this episode, you beautiful bastards. We'll catch you on the next deep dive where we'll dissect another piece of pop culture history, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. Stay curious, stay critical, and stay thirsty for knowledge. Peace out.